Well, hello YouTube. Apologies, I've not posted anything up since I think July last year. Any number of reasons for that. Life gets in the way of YouTube sometimes, and I've had a few technology problems with phones packing up, amongst other things. So I've just not got around to posting anything. But I thought perhaps it's time for a bit of an update, and I've got a few bits and bobs of content that I have got saved. I just haven't got around to editing, which I'll get on over the next few weeks. So anyway, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what's good at the moment? Well, I have to say the garden is looking pretty good for the beginning of April, or no, coming towards the end of April now, but it has been looking good. This wonder wall, I know I raved about it a little bit last year, but it has been fantastic. It's enabled us to have edible greens all the way through until very recently. I've had no insects on them, and it's just been an absolute godsend. We've had brassicas all through the year, and plentiful supply of brassicas. So what about the bad? What's bad? Cars and machinery aren't great at the moment, but I'm working on that. Quad bike's not been very well. Digger's fine. Digger's going well, but I have got a few electrical issues, gremlins going on with that. The most, probably the worst bit that's happened in the last few months is on the electricity side. As you all know, I'm off-grid here. I should be off-grid here. I had a wind turbine that was there. That's not been very well, but that's due back anytime now. And I used to have an inverter there, so I stored power in 12-volt batteries and then converted it up to 240 volt, which is a usable voltage for me, and I was living quite happily with that. Unfortunately, I bought quite a cheap inverter, and back in February it blew up, so I've had no inverter. So at the moment the solar panels are disconnected. As you probably remember, there used to be two more panels there where that IBC is. That IBC is now hopefully going to stay there as a bit of a water supply. Wind turbines due back. That's the secondary set of batteries down there, which will be getting moved as well. So the power's not been a great situation, but I've got over it, and luckily I'm able to hook into next door's power, and they've kindly donated me some power. So yeah, that's all not so good. The other thing that's pretty good is the fact that I did actually lay the hedge over the winter. January, February, right up to the end of March, I was still busy doing it. It took me longer than it should have done because I had COVID, which knocked me out of action. I had my back flared up badly at one point. So it took me longer than it should have done. But as you can see, it has all now been laid, and hopefully that'll allow a bit more light and air into the garden and stop the hedge from sucking all the water out of the garden. As you can see, this is North Devon in the UK, and there are different styles of hedging all over the country, and this is Devon style hedging. So we don't have a stock-proof hedge. What we have is a stock-proof bank with a hedge on top, and part of the purpose of the hedge is that these trees that are growing here have all got roots that go down through the bank and hold the bank upright, and the hedge on the top acts as a visual deterrent to animals trying to climb over the bank. So this is Devonshire hedge laying, which is the style obviously that I use all the time. That leads us on to the ugly, which is this, because the rain, as everyone knows, poured down in March. So this was an absolute mess here, but I needed to get the bank made up. So I had to get in here and make a bit of mess. So I've still got a little bit of clearing and tidying to do down here with a digger once things dry out. And as you can see, the grass is green. No livestock here at the moment. I did have my rams down for the winter, as always. They went back a couple of weeks ago. There's been some changes in land ownership and occupation around here in the last few weeks. So yeah, it's all changed really. Anyway, I've got some elderflowers there, hopefully coming, and the pear trees in full bloom, which is lovely. So yeah, so that's where we're at the moment. As you can see in the garden at the moment, We have asparagus coming through, and the runner beans are ready to go in, and we've had, this is our second crop of leeks, our late crop of leeks. Some garlic there. Thank you again, Hugh and Fiona. I thank you every year, but I will continue to do that because they're great garlic I had off you. And I've got loads and loads of plants to go into the brassica tunnel over the next few weeks. So I'll try and give you an update in a few weeks' time on the garden type of stuff. I've got a couple of reviews coming up, a couple of little rants coming up, because you all love it when I rant. And yeah, and I think next week there's going to be a film about the tobacco growing project, which will continue this year. So as you probably remember, it's a little bit weedy and messy at the moment, but as you probably remember, in this bed here last year, I grew my tobacco, which I processed, and I've got a little film about processing that coming out very soon. And this bed here, I put a green manure in at the beginning of the winter and dug that in. So that will be this year's tobacco bed. So anyway, that's the garden and the environs. I'm still alive, just about. I hope everybody that watches this is happy and healthy, and I'll catch up with you all very soon. Ta-ta for now.